So I actually went and raided 25 man on my feral druid yesterday. I'd already done 10 man and I'd done some other bits in preparation for a podcast that I was meant to be on yesterday, which I sadly couldn't make. Sorry, Bob, when you got kids, things come up. But I was going to put together a video this evening talking about the buff to feral with Omen of Clarity now proccing 100% of the time with Feral Fairy Fire, and just, do I think it was either too much, not enough, or just right? Now, it's sad that I'm going to scrap that video completely because it would be far too overshadowed by the stealth nerf that's just happened to feral DPS. Admittedly, it's a bit difficult to call it a stealth nerf when it's still overall a net positive gain from both changes, the stealth nerf that's happened plus the change to Feral Fairy Fire, but there's more to it than that. So following the recent change to Omen of Clarity and how it functions for feral druids, Blizzard has implemented a new hotfix. The Naturalist talent in a restoration tree has been reduced by half, increasing the total physical damage the talent gives by 5% instead of the previous 10%. The previous change to feral druids Omen of Clarity has no effect in PvP, as it specifically stated it didn't work on player characters. This new change to the Naturalist talent will impact PvP feral druids, as well as slightly impacting threat for bear druids in PvE. And now when it says slightly impacting threat for bear druids in PvE, 5% physical damage being removed completely from a class that already does have a few issues with threat is not good at all. And yes, of course, this is also a flat 5% damage nerf to those that PvP as well. You're thinking, well, as a bear, you've still got Omen of Clarity proccing your clear cast, so you can use something for free, etc. every 6 seconds. Well, you're normally pretty good on rage, as in you don't rely on that clear casting to be able to output as much threat as possible. You would much rather have the old Fairy Fire, but have 5% extra physical damage from the Naturalist talent the way that it's meant to be. My problem with this really is I actually started to enjoy my feral again. I've been absolutely neglecting it over the last probably 4 to 6 weeks, just because I have much more fun raiding on my Shadow Priest on NA and my Paladin now on both NA and EU. But this at least gave me a little bit of a spark, just a little bit of hope that I would actually start to enjoy Feral again, and it wasn't too bad. I do think I'm a little bit too much of a Paladin fanboy at the moment. Sorry, Druids, I still love you all, and I still love Feral, but I just prefer raiding on a Paladin at the moment. How you get from buffing one ability to completely cutting another talent, which is fairly important to all druids that use any form of bear or cat, in half is not the right play. Firstly, why was this not tested heavily on the PTR? We had PTR testing with a gargoyle change for DKs, as well as other things. This is something else that should have been on the PTR. In fact, when I first made the video announcing the change to Feral Fairy Fire, I was on the PTR. It was only until someone DM'd me saying, it's on the live servers, what are you doing on the PTR, that I actually went on live, because I was like, there's no way this would just get pushed straight to live, you know, a big change. But it did, because it would have been a lot less frustrating for druids out there if it went live on the PTR and we had a little bit of a say in the matter, where it was like, well, yeah, that's fair enough. It is a little bit too tuned. We're getting a lot more damage than you anticipated, as Blizzard anticipated. So maybe a trade-off is Naturalist, you know, changing by 5%, which we probably wouldn't have agreed with. But ultimately, it's Omen of Clarity that was changed, so why not make further adjustments to Omen of Clarity? I talked to a lot of really good druids. I mean, shout out to Rugs, Table Slam, Airness, Grifting. Yeah, I talked to all those guys about everything sort of feral or even druid related, even though it's not my main anymore. You know, I still like to stay in touch with all those people because they know what they're talking about. And many of them even said that the 100% chance for Fairy Fire is just too much. And I tend to agree, especially after doing 25 man on it now, doing 10 man on it. I feel like 50% would have been pretty good. It would have added DPS, and it also would have had a bit of an RNG element, so it doesn't feel quite so rotational. You can't guarantee you're going to get that Omen of Clarity when you need it like you can at the moment. It would be a bit of a gamble, and I would have much rather have seen that changed. So they changed the Omen of Clarity proc chance with Feral Fairy Fire to 50% rather than just a flat nerf to damage by 5%. But druids, you tell me what you think. I'm sure Grifton's probably put a video out by now, so shout out to Grifton. If you don't watch his content and you're a feral druid, you absolutely should. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm not too pleased with this, I'll be honest with you. As I say, I would have rather some more tweaks to Feral Fairy Fire before just going cut straight down the line, 5% less damage. I don't know. Like and subscribe. See you on the next one. And that's probably where you thought the video ended. Not quite. It was just about, well, it had finished uploading. You was about to see it, and then there was another little change. So let's look at that first. So what they've actually done now, they've said we're making a follow-up change to the molecularity adjustment we made last week. That change ended up with increasing feral cat damage a little more than we wanted. So we're making an additional change to lower this output by about 4.5%. So what they're actually doing now is the Naturalist talent, is going down to 5%, as we already know that we've discussed in this video. As well as Omen of Clarity will now proc from Gifted of Wild, so you will be able to use that still if you want to, because they didn't like the negative impact that had on balanced druids, and also to outweigh the 5% damage that bears are going to be getting as well, they're slightly increasing the bear threat multiplier to compensate for the reduction in that damage. A little bit better, but still, I don't like it. Let's try and end this video.